We're joined now by Mark Martin, driver of the number 14 Bass Pro Shops Mobile One Chevrolet. Mark, in your second week of pinch hitting for Tony Stewart, you were one of the early cars out yesterday for qualifying, which probably means you didn't get the lap that you probably would have liked. What would you like to see get accomplished today during practice?
Just get a little bit more time to get the car more comfortable. The car's still quite a bit different than what I've been driving for a couple years, and the car felt pretty good. We did some race trim stuff yesterday before we went into Q trim, and the car actually seemed to have good speed and felt pretty good. So we definitely have some things we thought about and want to work on today to try to improve the car and work all over the racetrack to get check out the multiple grooves, and that's that's about it. It's going to be hot and slick for sure, and it'll be a challenge for us to get those things handling good in this heat.
Any questions for Mark? Oh, Wolfgang.
Wolfgang Monser from German Rennsport Press Agency. Mark, personally, I only come to a couple of races. Maybe I missed it. Can you give an explanation why you, for next year, will leave the Michael Waltrip team? What was the main reason, in case there's a main reason?
What was the reason that I departed from Michael Waltrip Racing?
Yes.
Because everybody won in that situation. Brian Vickers, MWR had secured Brian Vickers for a 2-year contract to race for a championship. Aaron's had signed on board to fully sponsor the car for the next 2 years. And everything that we hope to accomplish, Michael and I hope to accomplish when we entered into that scenario was accomplished. So, it was a win for them to get a chance to start with Brian, get a head start with Brian, and because Tony asked me if I could come do that. So that's why.
Let's go with Reed.
Reed Spencer with the NASCAR Wire Service. Mark, as a guy who's driven a lot of different things over the years, can you feel any difference at all from the driver's seat with the new dual tread tire?
You know what? I thought the tire had exceptional grip yesterday for the pavement. We have really complained as drivers quite a bit about the grip level the last few years here, and the combination of the Gen 6 and the tire seemed to work pretty well. The biggest thing is that hopefully it gives us the durability that we really need for these high speeds and these long turns. I think it's probably a really good scenario because it pushes the teams to protect themselves by putting softer rubber on the outer part of the tire. It pushes the teams to try to get out there on that instead of the fast inside shoulder, which is problematic, and we certainly don't need to have inside shoulder, abuse the inside shoulders here and fail right fronts at this racetrack with these speeds. So I think it's a very smart move because it encourages the teams to take a little camber out, maybe, and it gives us better grip than we would have if we had the really hard stuff all the way across the tires. So.
Right here in front.
Mark, Kenny Bruce with NASCAR.com. Just wondering, any progress on 2014, what your plans might be?
Kenny, I was thinking about it and had some discussions before Tony's injury. And I'll be real honest with you, I could care less about 2014 right now because I am doing all I can to tread water. This has been, making this change was pretty huge because it's not only is it different crew guys work on the car, which really isn't a huge thing, but it's a whole different thought process. It's a whole different bunch of guys that I didn't have a chance to go to test in February and go hang out in the shop and go test somewhere else. Just jumping right in. It added, I don't know, about 3 races to my schedule, what I had. So I picked up 3 additional races. And so I am really, really pushed and driven to try to get immersed in this team and figure out what I like in these cars so that we can start putting that in there week to week. We're still just throwing stuff at the car and me saying, nah, yeah, that's better. Nah, when you find something that really feels good to you, there's a sense of consistency, not consistency, but continuity is what I was looking for, from track to track. You can use that same logic. You might not use the same springs and all, but you can use the same logic, and you can sim it out and shoot for those same kind of fields at other racetracks. We're not there yet, obviously. This is not like making a change over the winter. It's not like stepping out of MWR Toyota into even a Gibbs Toyota, like I did at Martinsville. There's just a lot going on. I would like to say one more thing to Wolfgang. I think everybody in here heard what I said in February. I'm not a candidate for the 55 car for 2014. I did not want to drive that car. It was because I wanted to see those guys run for a championship, which is something I'm not going to do. So I had really built a strong relationship with those guys and their championship material, and I want to see them be able to go out there and go after that. So for me, making a decision on what I do in 2014 is not important right now. I am in no hurry because I'm not really worried about what I do. I am more focused. I do have a focus on what I can do in NASCAR. That I want to do more in NASCAR than drive race cars. I want to do more than that. I had a good time at MWR, and they let me be a part of that organization a little bit more than just a show up and driver, and I want to grow more of that. So that's, of great interest to me, and is where my primary focus was before the 14 car came up. After that, it's like I'm not worried about what the heck. I got to stay focused on what's in front of me.
Go ahead.
Lee Spencer, Fox Sports. Am I correct that you and Arlene have moved to North Carolina and kind of made that a residence as of now?
You're onto something, but not completely. We do spend. This is the craziest thing. My son Matt lives in our house in Arkansas, and we live in his house in North Carolina. So I don't know how. I'm not sure this is working like it's supposed to, but he has a place in North Carolina, and we do spend a good bit of time there. He's going to school in Arkansas, so he stays at our house in Arkansas. So that's kind of what we're doing right now. We don't have a permanent residence there, but we got a place to stay, and I have spent more time. I spent a lot of time there last year, and going to spend more time going forward because, like I said before, it is I am going to find a niche in this sport, that goes beyond driving, and so if I'm going to do that, I've got to be around more.
Well, that's why, what your statement, you just said you wanted to be more involved with NASCAR. A move to the Carolinas obviously makes sense. Are you guys still keeping your place in Florida, or? Yes, we're not giving up. But we've been there 20 years. We're not giving up on that. But right now, we have a lot going on in the Carolinas, and enjoy getting back to Arkansas as well. I do have a place in Batesville, and we enjoy getting back there. But
The business at hand is really in Charlotte, and we have been there for a couple of years now, more than we used to, and we do have a place to stay there. So yeah, I'm getting in position. I'm positioning myself for the future, long term.
Hey, Mark, Al Pierce of the Auto Week. You were the first guy to introduce us to Joey Logano. And as it turns out, looked like he's going to be okay. What do you see in Kyle Larson, if you see anything that's similar? And if Kyle Larson came to you and asked for advice on how do I handle this job off the racetrack, what would you tell him?
Well, to answer the last question first, I would answer his question, specifics. He wouldn't ask me in general like your question was. He would ask me more specifics, and I would answer him honestly my opinion on those whatever specific thing that he was pondering. What I see in Kyle Larson is the same thing as what you guys see. Strapped in a race car, one that didn't normally always run in the top 5, and almost normally does run in the top 5 now with little or no experience, whether it's a car or truck, whatever he's done. It's just real plain. You just turn on the TV, watch the race, and you say, he's never done that before, but it sure looks like he has. It's a little bit like when I saw Joey Logano, and he was 11 years old here at this track, and I saw him race. I'd already heard about him, and when I saw him race, he raced like a man, not like an 11-year-old kid. So different, but Kyle Larson's very obvious. It's just obvious. You just look at his results on the racetrack are amazing.